Blitz will bring to you the best look of the city view. It's Maddy Skyeline, yeah, it's time for Maddy Skyeline.
It is time for Maddy Skyeline here on the Blitz on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix, live out at Slacker Sports and Arcade Bar, the medical center location. We're here till 7. Come by, see us. Your chance to win Cowboys Falcons tickets in a couple weeks up there at Jerry World. It's also time for Rock the Mic. We'll hear from some of the contestants a little bit later on in the show, but right now it's time to hear from Maddy Skye. And I tell you, Maddy, it's Maddy Skye, the sports reporter today.
Yeah, I've been so busy with sports. Wow, I hear an echo. That sounds so funny. Sounds kind of creepy. But yeah, so busy with UTSA. You're the first call I had this morning to help me figure out the USTA meme. But and as I look back on some of the other stuff, like this is not a new thing. People have been getting UTSA's name wrong for months, or I don't even. Somebody sent me a picture of a shirt years that had USP on it, USTA on it, a UTSA branded shirt that had it flipped. So, you know,
it's interesting because, I mean, your social media game is far superior to mine. And I look at Jeff Traylor winning on the field and he's winning on Twitter. I mean, that was grade A-level trolling this morning by the head coach of the UTSA Roadrunners.
Yeah, and I think it was a morale booster, too, because seeing all of the success that UTSA has had this season and, you know, ranking on all these different polls and then on this playoff one to just completely get snubbed over Pittsburgh. Was it Pittsburgh? I think they got the 26th spot. Pretty sure it was Pittsburgh. I'm sure that was kind of like a punch, but especially coming up with such an important game. But I think that was a morale booster for a lot of the fans. So it was funny to see everybody getting really excited about it.
And that's it. And I look at it. It's fun to talk about, and it's something to complain about. That's legit. But in reality, I look at that poll, it should not go past 10 because anything after 10, you have no chance of getting one of the 4 playoff spots, right? And UTSA or USTA, they have the same amount of opportunity, and their strength of schedule is what it is. And that committee looks at your resume, and while the Roadrunners are undefeated, who they've beaten in their records, it's not a good strength of schedule. So, I mean, I wasn't surprised that they didn't make that part of it. But it is something fun to rally the troops. And that show, that ranking, is all to spark debate. That's what it's there for. That's why they have the first one come out first week of November, first Tuesday in November. And next week, if they beat UTEP, maybe they sneak in there or whatever. Somebody's going to drop out. The only team that really has an argument is Cincinnati. Outside of that, you're just bitching a bitch when I look at that. But I do understand where Coach Traylor is coming from when the committee chair calls them USTA. And when I first saw that, I thought it was a typo, but apparently it was not a typo. That dude literally said it, which shows you the respect nationally that UTSA has. Maddy, you're also on the Spurs beat going to the game tonight, although I know you're a Spurs fan, a basketball fan. You're going there to eat. I don't know how you got the lucky assignment tonight. I'm jealous, but tell us what you're doing tonight at the Spurs game.
That sounds like the memoir of my life. She's going there to eat. So yeah, the Spurs Sports and Entertainment, who manages everything at the AT&T Center, not just Spurs games, but you know all the other functions that take place there. Each year, they invite in like tastemakers to take a tour of the AT&T Center offerings, and each year they have really great stuff. But I will say my all-time favorite, and it's gonna be hard to top, if you've ever had or if you've never had the chicken strips at the AT&T Center, like I think it's called Chicken Love and Tender. So good. And you can get like all these different types of sauces, and they give you in this nice little box. I think it's like the last time I had it, I think it was like $13 worth. Like it's so much food. I had to share it with somebody the last time I had it. It's like a huge serving of fries, chicken strips. So when I go on these tours, I already have my mind made up about what I want to eat. But they take you around and show you. And as food and culture editor, it's important for us to know what's the AT&T Center as far as food goes for all these events.
it's both. It's food and it's culture. It's the Spurs culture and what they're going to feed you there. And I know they've added a lot of new food options at the AT&T Center and elevated cuisine. And it's interesting because when you go to stadiums now, whether you're going up to Jerry World or NRG down in Houston for a Texans game, baseball stadiums, it's not just hot dogs and popcorn and nachos anymore. I mean, I was looking at when they first sent out the release several weeks ago about the new options at the AT&T Center. They really stepped up their game. You're gonna be very full tonight. I hope they give you a to-go bag.
They tapped the chef that is from Mexico City. I think I spoke to him a couple months ago. So I mean, it's really good cuisine, and it's very well thought out. You don't get like typical bizarre arena food. Like, it's culturally relevant. It's tasty. So it's exciting. Every year it's exciting. And of course, you have Chef Johnny Hernandez has his outpost there with the margaritas, which are delicious no matter what. So yeah, it should be fun. And then I get to watch the game too.
And then you get to watch the game, Spurs and Mavs, and you should end up seeing a really good basketball game. So it's tough life being the food and culture editor of the San Antonio Express News. What else has been going on in your news world?
We also have, talking about the Spurs, the new Cultura line, which is really cool. I'm going to grab one of those shirts tonight. It has like this spray paint looking vibe. They release them every year, but this year there's this shirt that I really want. It says like the team of San Antonio in Spanish, and then it has paletas and raspas on the side. So I really want that. And then that goes on until tonight first, the AT&T Center, and then online right at 7:30, and then at the La Cantera shop on November. I can't remember the date, but just check my story. It has all the information on it.
Next couple of days, mysa.com, or get her on Twitter, and you'll be able to find that out. Any new restaurants opening up? It seems like every week there's new spots that I want to go check out.
Yeah, we've had such a big boom. There's one coming summer 22 that I just wrote about, called Ladino, and it's going to be like Mediterranean grill house at the Pearl. Looks really tasty. So I'm going to have to up my Mediterranean taste buds up, because right now all I'm obsessed with is cava, and I know that's probably like the Chipotle of Mexican food, but it's good. But I have time to learn more about Mediterranean food, because as I said before, I'll stay in my lane when it comes to anything that's not Tex-Mex, because I'm not an expert on it. So I can't really speak to their merit, but it looks delicious.
Well,
and it looks really nice too.
And your let's see, how do I say this? Your Twitter timeline has last several weeks, I get very hungry seeing all the food that you're tweeting out. Shea Serrano tweeted out a photo of a taco that you retweeted. Do you write about a place that Shea goes? Because that taco looked really good.
This is a whole thing that's been happening since yesterday. Because I told you, I can't speak to other culture cuisine, but I will speak to Tex-Mex. And people were really upset that I put cheese on my carne guisada with carne guisada tacos. It's not that I need the cheese, I want the cheese. So
well, it's because Jeff Traylor says don't eat the cheese, but I'm with you. I want cheese on everything.
Yeah, like, why are you so upset about cheese? Somebody went as far as saying that tacos don't have cheese on them, which there's queso fresco, there's a whole thing, but there was a whole debate going on. So I was like, you know what, Shea Serrano also eats carne guisada with cheese, and he's very Mexican too, so it was a whole thing. But yes, carne guisada with cheese, if you haven't tried it, try it. Change your life. Add some razzle dazzle to it. It won't hurt. Unless you're, what is that?
Lactose.
You have food allergies, and don't do that if you have a food allergy.
Well, sometimes it might be worth it. Eat the cheese and deal with the consequences. I mean, that's part of it. I mean, it's not like James Pledger doesn't want onions on anything. That I understand. But cheese,
what?
Yeah, Pledge doesn't
onions
eat onions.
Delicious.
They are. I mean, I realize. I mean, you got to understand. Pledge is 8, and eats like a 4-year-old at times.
Oh, are you chicken tender boy? So that's when I said chicken tenders. He was like, oh.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. I mean, that's what he does. But and I understand, like, if you don't like onions, there's something wrong with you to begin with. But cheese goes on everything, and it's not a taco without cheese. It's like somebody said they wanted a cheeseburger with no cheese. I'm like, yeah. John Dyer, he said on Facebook Live, onions are gross, man. I don't know what's wrong with you people.
We agree on a lot of things. Mr. John and I agree on a lot of things, but I don't know, man. Onions are delicious.
I don't understand how Jason doesn't like tomatoes.
See, I'm allergic to tomatoes.
Tomatoes are good. I don't know. There's not much I don't like.
Yeah. No, I'm allergic to it's the little seeds in a raw tomato. So I can eat spaghetti sauce, I can eat salsa, but if you just slice a tomato and put it on a burger, those little seeds, they'll send me to a small room for about 3 days, and it ain't pretty. So no tomatoes for me.
That's a delicate way of putting it.
Very, very trying to be there. Maddie, enjoy the Spurs game tonight. Eat well. Take a bag so you can bring the leftovers home. All right, good stuff. Maddy Skye from the San Antonio Express News, reader there, or at mysa.com, the food and culture editor of the San Antonio Express News.